I have been an educator for 20 years. In the last 20 years, the most commonly heard sentence from people across different walks of life is our education system is broken. Hey folks, I'm CSK and I'm an educator. Welcome to CSKSpeaks. Indian education system is broken. This is the common statement I have been hearing for the last 20 years. As an educator, it pains my heart. It pains because we are working day in and day out to change that narrative. But I'm not here to talk to you about my feelings or vent out about my frustrations. I'm here to tell you something which Linus Pauling famously said when he visited India. Now, for those of you who want to know who is this Linus Pauling, Linus Pauling is a Nobel laureate. Nobel laureate for chemistry. His research on chemical bonds is path-breaking. Now, long story short, Linus Pauling is a two-time Nobel Prize winner. One for his research in chemical bonds, as I've already told you, but the second time is more interesting. He was known for speaking his mind, straight as an arrow. He doesn't care. He will speak truth to the power. Now, you are wondering, did the Nobel Committee give him a Nobel Prize for speaking his mind? If so, then I qualify to be a Nobel Prize winner the next time because you can speak truth to power or you can speak out of your mind, right? But he spoke where it mattered. He spoke when USA waged a war on Vietnam. He was the first one to go on national media and speak sense to the power, to the then president, and say that what you're doing is absolutely foolish. He just did not stop there. He garnered the support of different Nobel laureates across the globe and brought enormous pressure on the United States through the United Nations that they finally had to call off the war. Now that's a different story for another day. But for this particular activity, this activism, the Nobel Committee gave him the second Nobel Prize for peace. So here we have Linus Pauling, a two-time Nobel Prize winner, and he visits India. He visits India and he is taken around Delhi, Agra and other places to spend some time, including Chandigarh. Now when he was on his visit, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, our space mission scientist, he was accompanying him, and when he was taken around these places, apart from visiting monuments and famous places, he was also taken into a few schools and institutions. And when he went into those institutions, people were happy, excited to welcome a Nobel laureate to their campus. They had mini functions and seminars. There were garlands exchanged and mementos given, and there were photographs which kind of donned the press. At the end of the day, when his visit was coming to an end, there was a valedictory function organized for Linus Pauling, and in that function, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai asked him, he should not have asked then, but he asked him out of excitement and enthusiasm in his address that, well, Mr. Pauling, it's time for you to say goodbye to India. I would like to know, among your experiences here, how was your experience visiting our schools? Dr. Sarabhai thought that he has identified a few good schools and Linus Pauling has been invited and taken around to those schools, so he was expecting to listen to some good sweet words from this Nobel laureate. Linus Pauling, man known to speak truth, known to speak straight, and was not hesitant. He went on the stage, took the mic, and he said, well, I didn't want to speak about this topic particularly, but now that you asked, I have no reason to stop myself. And then he continues. He says, I went into your schools excited. I saw magnificent buildings. I saw fantastic infrastructure. I saw spick and span corridors. I saw everything in its place. But don't mind me saying, in India, you have world-class infrastructure. This was back then, mind you, world-class, or he said first-class infrastructure. You have second-class labs and libraries. Because I saw all of those equipments and all of those books which you have stored. But sorry to tell you, you have third-class teachers. Now, when this statement came up, everybody were shocked. Vikram Sarabhai was kind of embarrassed, but the audience were amused and shocked as to what is this scientist speaking. He called our teachers third class. And Lena Spowling understood the restlessness in the audience. He said, "Let me explain. I went into one of your libraries and I asked the librarian, well, you have a fantastic collection of books. How many of your teachers read them?" And the librarian didn't even give me an eye contact. He was ashamed to tell that nobody, almost nobody, reads these books among the teachers. I went into the classrooms. I was looking at the teachers engaging with the children, but I did not see the spark, the excitement in their eyes. It was almost like a burden which they were living on a daily basis. And I'm not saying all teachers are like that. There are some good teachers, but that percentage is very low. But majority on the whole, in all these 3-4 institutions I went, teachers don't have the spark in their eyes. And that's why I say that you have third-class teachers. But in reality, you got to go back to your roots. And if you go back to the roots, I know as a country, India has great lineage of teachers. Those teachers who made the whole world come to them sitting under a tree. That means back then, your teachers were first class. Your infrastructure, maybe with labs and libraries or equipment, second class then. But physical infrastructure of how your building looks, the color, the combination, that was not at all there. As I said, the person was sitting under the tree and he was teaching and made the whole world like Taxila or Nalanda come to them. You must have read your books where Japanese and Chinese people traveled across to come and understand. Westerners like me came here. In fact, that is one of the reasons I came now as a Nobel laureate to visit this great country to understand your research and your people and your culture and your spirituality. And thus the function ended and Linus Pauling handed over his mic to the organizers. Well, friends, if you look at that sentence, there is so much of power in that. And that's the solution, that's the answer to fix the broken education system. And I'm not saying our entire education system is broken. I'm an educator, mind you. There are a lot of things which we are doing great. I take pride in the fact that our elementary education in terms of physics and chemistry, that is sciences and maths, is wonderful. In fact, people across the Western world will come back because our roots are stronger when it comes to these subjects. We have the largest, wonderfully speaking English population across Asia, or for that matter, across the world. But then, let's not rest on those laurels. Let's look at that statement. People, that is teachers, who have no motivation, who have no fire in their eyes, who do not sharpen their saw, who do not read, who do not research, who do not reinvigorate, reinvent themselves. Well, I think that's the answer. If we all want to fix that broken system called education, as a person, we need to bring in that change. And how do we bring in that change? By teaching, by taking to teaching. I keep telling this. It does not matter. You don't have to become a full-time teacher. You can become a teacher wherever you are by doing whatever you are. Because today, we need our younger generations to learn and learn properly. And only those people who have that wholehearted intention to teach can become great teachers. Well, I don't want to make this another video on asking you to get into something which you don't like, but those of you who are in the profession, those of you who like to teach, those of you who want to add value to people, do it with spirit. Do it with spirit. Because remember, we need first class teachers. Rest everything can be second class and third class or next class, but we need first class teachers.